We're going to jump into designing our first part. We're going to walk through designing a very simple part. You'll just watch along as we create a sketch and create our very first pads and pockets and fillets. And you'll be watching the icons we pick and how the dialog boxes look when they pop up and how we enter information into them, just getting a broad picture of how it happens. Then after we do that, we'll take a look at several of the key components for that process. We'll look at the sketcher in more detail and look at what our legal sketch is and maybe the different kinds of things we can sketch on. We'll take a look at the dialog boxes that we saw that popped up during our walkthrough, and we'll notice that many of the dialog boxes have a very common look to them, and they share concepts. And we'll take a look at some of those. And we'll also look at the specification tree. We'll learn the fundamentals of how it tracks the design of our part, and we'll learn this concept called define work object. Now, as we step through each one of these, we'll come back to this page and we'll point out where we are on this page and exactly what topic you're addressing, so you'll never be lost within the big picture. Okay, let's get started. Okay, we're going to start by creating a new part. We'll go to File, New, and unlike Microsoft Word, where every time you start a new document, it's always a Word document, or PowerPoint, it's always a PowerPoint document. In Catia, there's several different kinds of documents you could start. I'm going to start a part document, and then I'll say, I want it to say OK. Now we're inside our first part. Usually the first thing I do is actually save this. Now we've created one, but we haven't hit save. So I'll go to File, Save. And now it asks me where I'd like to save it. I'll say I'll save this on my desktop. And I'll say Save. Okay, great. Now we'll go to Sketcher and we'll pick up Flat Plane. Now it throws me into a 2D world we call the Sketcher world. And I'll select a tool to draw on this 2D plane. Okay. And I might even put a dimension on part of this. Okay, and I'll get out of Sketcher. Now we have a 2D sketch. And we're going to try to make this into 3D now. Now I want you to watch here in the specification tree. Everything I do is created here in the specification tree, and you'll notice we have a sketch. I'll select my pad icon and select my sketch, and I'm just going to drag this sketch profile to be about like so. There you go. Now notice that we have a pad now, which is a sketch-based feature, and it's based on this sketch. This sketch has kind of a dimmed out look to it now, and if I right click it on it, let's hide, it's still there, but we can hide it if we like. Okay, that's great. Now let's create another sketch based feature. We need to create another sketch, so I'll go to Sketcher and I'll pick say this flat surface to sketch on, and let's sketch a rectangle. There we go. Let's exit Sketcher. And now I have another sketch in my specification tree. Let's pick a pocket, which is a remove material feature. And let's pick the sketch and reverse direction, and let's just make it a very shallow little pocket. Okay, great. So now you'll notice in the specification tree I have two sketches and two sketch-based features. Let's choose one of these filleting commands here. Let's make a fillet on this edge. And we'll say OK. Now in the tree we have a fillet. And the fillet is not based on a sketch. The fillet is not a sketch-based feature. It is a dress-up feature. Okay. Just for the fun of it here, I'm going to color this part blue. And we'll go to the pocket and we'll color it yellow, and we'll color the fillet yellow also. And there are a whole list of icons over here that do all kinds of things to this solid. One of the icons is a shell icon. And I can come over here and I select this part to shell. And let's put it like this. And now we've kind of hollowed out this part. And you'll notice in the specification tree we have that shell in the specification tree. And finally, I'm going to draw one more sketch-based feature. I'll sketch on this top surface, this top face, and I will sketch another rectangle. Exit Sketcher, and let's make another pad and say, let's make this pad go up about so far and say OK. So here we have built our first little solid, and as we've been building it, it's been adding things to the specification tree. Now we're going to go back and look in detail at the sketcher and the kinds of surfaces or faces that we could sketch on. And we're also going to look in detail at some of the dialog boxes that appeared when we were creating some of these features. Like when we created this last pad, these are called dialog boxes. And these dialog boxes are where you enter some information. And we'll take a look at the dialog box here for a pad and the kinds of things it asks for. And we'll take a look at the dialog box for this pocket and the kinds of things it asks for and how they are some things that they share in common. And we'll take a look at the dialog box for dress-up features and how we can change the values in a dialog box, and then the dress-up feature changes. Okay.